going to begin our service today with the ringing of the Kansho by Certified Minister's Assistant Sharon Sasaki. Good morning and welcome to today's service, Spring Ohigan service. Today's service is being chaired by the 3rd to 4th grade class. Whether you are here in the Hondo or watching our service on YouTube, we hope that you are having a great day. Ohigan means to the other shore. When life transitions from this shore to the other shore of the Pure Land. We observe Ohigan twice a year, in the spring and in the fall, when the days and nights are equal length. We will now have our fruit and floral offering being presented by our class.
Reverend Smitty will lead the Sutra chanting of the Sanbujo, which can be found on page 21 of the service book. It will be followed with silent meditation and the Hyobyakumon, or the intention of the service.
The The chant Sanbujo, or three respectful callings, is done to invite Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Buddhas of all 10 directions to be with us as we symbolically scatter flowers to welcome the presence of enlightenment with us. Bujo Please join me in Gassho, or with palms together. Today, we gather to observe the vernal equinox through a service known as Ohigan. Higan is an abbreviation of Tohigan, which literally means to reach the other shore. For in Buddhism, the world of suffering and delusion is referred to as this shore, and the world of enlightenment is called the other shore. The term Higan comes from the Sanskrit word paramita, meaning gone to the other shore, and it suggests the 6 paramitas of giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. Various sutras teach that the 6 paramitas, or perfections of practice, are the way of reaching the other shore from this shore. In Shin Buddhism, however, rather than striving on our own to achieve enlightenment, we rely on the incomparable vow of Amida Buddha in order to reach the other shore. Therefore, as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, the observance of Ohigan is an opportunity to express our gratitude to Amida Buddha for awakening us to boundless compassion and wisdom. Our aspiration is that as we receive this great compassion in our lives, may we in turn act compassionately toward all beings with whom we share this shore of samsara. This appreciation in our daily lives is the Jodo Shinshu way of expressing our gratitude and thanksgiving for the wondrous virtues extended to us unconditionally and without discrimination. Namo Amida Butsu, Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Reverend Smitty will lead us in the Sutra chanting Juseige, which can be found on page 35.
Gagon Chosegan Ishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzo Seifujo Shogak Gao Muraoka Huidai Seshu Husai Shobingu Seifujo Shogak Gashi Jobundo Myosho Chojipo Kukyo Mishomon Seifujo Shogak Ryoku Jin Shonen Jo Eshu Bongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Teninshi Jinriki and Taiko Husho Musaido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shuyakunan Kaihichi Egen Meshi Konmo An Heisoku Shoakudo Tsudaten Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzok Ioro Jipo Nichigaten Shujuki Tenko Onfugen Ishu Kai Hozo Kose Kudoku Ho Jo Dai Shuju Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai But Gusoku Shutoku Hon Gane Shinjo Man Toku Isan Gaio Nyobuten Mugechi Tsudaten Mishu Sho Shinaku Evrik Toshi Saisho Son Shiganya Koka Daisen Okando Koku Shotenin Touchin Myoke Namandabu 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 Ganishikudoku Byodo Seisai Dohoden Bodaishin Ojo Anrako.
At this time, we will now have incense offering by temple representatives. Miss Lisa Umekubo. From the Dharma School students, Avery Masukuda. From the Sangha teams, Kobe Kawahara. Representing the Junior Young Buddhist Association, Cassidy Muraoka. From the Adult Buddhist Association, Mr. Greg Yonakura. Representing the Buddhist Women's Association, Kelly Tamaya. From the Taiko group, Aya Enix. Representing Komon, or our past temple presidents, Ms. Joyce Teague. And representing Buddhist Temple of San Diego, Mr. Kurt Yasuhara.
Thank you. We will now listen to a Spring Ohigan Dharma message given by Reverend Smitty.
Good morning, everybody. Please join me in Gassho, or with palms together. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Namandab, namandab, namandab. That's a bit of an unconventional quotation. But as I get through my talk, maybe you'll understand why I selected those words. And to me, they ring sort of like words spoken by Myokonin, those wonderful followers of Jodo Shinshu who had deep insight, even though they didn't do any studying. They just listened to the Dharma and were able to share what they heard with others with such simple words. Anyways, okay. Let's start out with a pop quiz for Dharma School. Oh, yay. Everybody's ready? All right. So, do you know what special service we're celebrating today? Go ahead. That's right. It's Spring Ohigan. So we celebrate Ohigan, as you mentioned, as chair peoples. We do this twice a year, in the spring and the autumn. And it's an observance of Japanese origins. That is, Ohigan wasn't a tradition handed down from Buddhism in India or China. And the observance of Ohigan is said to have been inspired by Prince Shotoku, who was a ruler and a very, very legendary ruler, and was considered to be the first great patron or champion of Buddhism in Japan. So the holiday is also based on the teachings and writings of one of the 7 masters in Jodo Shinshu, the Chinese scholar and monk Shantao, also known as Zendo in Japanese. And in the Gatha Shoshinge, which we chanted this morning as part of the Gomenichi service, or Shinran Shonen's monthly memorial. Shinran expressed gratitude to Shandao, the fifth master, for teaching us the virtues of reciting the name of Amida Buddha, or saying what? Namo Amida Butsu, really great. See, you guys know all this stuff. I don't have to quiz you anymore. Okay. Since Ohigan occurs twice a year, in the spring and fall, what special day does it really coincide with? And I'll give you a hint. It starts with an E and ends with an X. Equinox, yeah. Wow. That's great. So in the northern hemisphere, where San Diego's located, the equinox in March is called the vernal or spring equinox, and the equinox in September is called the autumnal or fall equinox. And as I mentioned, on the day of the equinox, daytime and nighttime are approximately equal duration all over the planet. So the hours of sunlight equal the hours of darkness, or daytime is in balance with nighttime. And these are also times of the year when the weather is also kind of in balance for us. It's usually not too cold, and it's usually not too hot, and it's usually not too rainy, and it's usually not too dry. So equinox, and therefore Ohigan, is a time of balance. So thinking about balance, have you ever tried to stand on one leg? Yeah. I think most of us have tried it once in a while. Can you stand on one leg for a minute? Yeah? How about 10 minutes? Maybe. Do you think you could do it for 20 minutes? Okay. Do you think you'd have to work to stay on one leg for 20 minutes? Yeah, it wouldn't be quite so easy, would it? Yeah. Oh, so you're advocating cheating a little bit there. Okay. Do you think you can hop on one leg? Yeah, okay, great. Do you think you could hop on one leg for a block or two? Oh, wow. How about, do you think you could hop maybe for half a mile? Would it be easy, or do you think you'd fall when you start trying longer distances? Start falling, huh? Now think about standing on two legs. Can Yeah, exactly. So standing on two legs for 10 or 20 minutes, would that be pretty easy? Yeah, that's pretty easy. How about walking on two legs? We just heard, yeah, what happens if we try to walk a couple blocks on two legs? Tired? You'd be balanced. It'd be pretty easy, huh? That's something we do a lot of. Maybe even half a mile would be not so hard on two legs. So, by the way, I have to put a disclaimer here that this Dharma message is a Dharma school talk, so I don't expect the slightly older folks here to try standing on one leg while they're downstairs in hospitality, or go hopping around on one leg through the parking lot after service. So please leave those things to the younger people. Thank you. Anyways, my point here is that when we're on one leg, we have to work to stay balanced, and that's because our bodies are used to being on two legs to get around. From the time we learn to pull ourselves up from a crawl and take our first steps, using two legs helps keep us in balance. And since Ohigan is celebrated at the same time as the spring and fall equinoxes, in some ways, Ohigan is referring to being in balance. So when we're in balance, it can be said that we're on the middle path. And being on that middle path, living a life that's imbalanced, is another way of saying we're living a Buddhist life. So back to the special day we're celebrating with this service, Ohigan. So we've learned that Higan refers to the other shore. Do you know why we call it Ohigan instead of just Higan? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay, well, O is said to be an honorific in the Japanese language. And when we put O in front of some words, It's a mark of respect, similar to the way we might call someone Mr. or Mrs. or Ms. before their name in order to show respect or politeness. So placing an O in front of other words shows respect, and it shows that they're special. Like our temple altar area, what's this called? Onaijin. Okay, we got that one. How about at home? Do you have a little shrine at home? Not home. Oh, Butsu. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Butsudan. Oh, Butsudan. Okay. How about the mindfulness beads you have around our wrists? Oh, Nenju. There you go. And we do the same case with Ohigan instead of just plain Higan. It's sort of like saying Mr. and Ms. Other Shore. Okay. Yeah. I suppose you could. That's an honorific showing that it's a special place to you. All right. Have you ever heard of the video game Frogger? Yeah. It's an old school game. It originally came out as an arcade game in 1981. How many of you were around in 1981? I see some hands behind you, but I shouldn't see any hands up front. Okay. So it was distributed by Sega, which is a big video game manufacturer headquartered in Tokyo, Japan. And this goes way back to the dinosaur days when you had to go to an actual arcade or game room and feed coins into pinball machines or video games. Can you imagine that? Yeah, they were really big. And in those days, these games were about the size of a refrigerator. They were huge. Yeah, those. Yeah, so anyways, Frogger was a video game where the objective of the game is to guide the frog from the bottom of the screen to one of the empty frog homes at the top of the screen. And at the start of the game, you have 3 to 7 frogs, depending on the game settings and how many quarters you paid. And the only player control is that 4-directional joystick used to navigate the frog. Each push in a direction causes the frog to jump once in that direction. So if you push it to the left, the frog jumps once left. You push it to the right, and the frog jumps once right. You push it forward, the frog jumps once forward. And you pull it back, and the frog jumps once backwards. So the frog starts at the bottom of the screen, and the lower half of the screen contains a horizontal road occupied by cars, trucks, bulldozers. It's all speeding along it. And you have to guide the frog between the opposing lanes of traffic to avoid becoming squished as roadkill, which results in the loss of a frog life. Now, after the road, there's a median strip separating the 2 major parts of the screen, where the frog can catch its breath before continuing on its journey. And then the upper portion of the screen consists of a river with logs, alligators, and turtles all moving across the screen. And so by jumping on the swiftly moving logs and on the backs of turtles and alligators, you can guide your frog to safety. So your frog has to avoid the dangers like snakes and otters and the open mouths of alligators in order to make it across the river to the other shore. And the very top of the screen contains frog homes, or frog homes maybe, which are the destinations for each frog. So to summarize, the object of the game is to direct your frog to their homes located on the other shore by crossing a super busy road and navigating across a river full of hazards. I suppose we could say that in the game of Frogger, the other shore is the location of the frog's true home, where they find comfort, peace, and rest. So, enough of old video games and back to Ohigan. As now we've established, Higan means other shore and refers to the world of awakening, or enlightenment, or nirvana, or the realm of the Buddha. And in contrast, the Japanese word shigan means, what do you think? Any guesses? If higan means other shore, shigan means this shore. Wow. So this shore refers to samsara, or the world of suffering and delusion, or the physical world we live in. So shigan, or samsara, simply refers to the times when we don't get what we want and we become cranky, or the times when we get self-centered and forget to share, or the times we get angry and yell at everybody, maybe including our friends and our siblings, or even our parents sometimes. So those times that we're uncomfortable or displeased and we act out, we don't feel peaceful or at ease. We're definitely on this shore. So as Buddhists, we're on a journey, and it's a journey from this shore to the other shore. So we're on a path from our everyday lives to an awakened life, and a path from the shore of anger and grumpiness and selfishness and hatred and meanness to the shore of happiness and kindness and sharing and comfort and peacefulness. We might say that our journey takes us from what we think is our home to what is our true home. So Ohigan, that other shore, is not a place to fear or shy away from. It's a place that's our true and real home. So how far away is this other shore? For some of us, it seems really far away, and for others, it seems pretty close. The journey we take to the other shore is this journey of our lifetime, and each of us have our own lifetimes. We get closer to the other shore, closer to this comfort and peace with each little step we take. So crossing from this shore to the other shore is a metaphor, a descriptive story for our spiritual journey. It's for our Buddhist lives, our Buddhist journey. And it's a journey we take together, not alone, as fellow travelers along this way. So it's a journey to our true home, or as I just learned, home, and a place of comfort and peace and happiness. It's like the journey that each frog and frogger takes with family and Dharma, friends and teachers guiding us instead of a joystick helping us avoid hazards and dangers in order to reach that other shore, that place of safety and comfort and the serenity of the frog home, or of our true home. So Ohigan reminds us to live a life in balance, a life that's our journey from this shore to the other shore, a Buddhist journey from this drudgery to awakening in our real home. So like the frogs in Frogger, let's all hop to it. Okay, please join me again in Gassho. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. Namandab, 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 namandab.
Thank you, Reverend Smitty, for your Dharma message. Will everybody please rise for the Gatha Namo Amida Butsu on page 122 of the service book. Please remain standing for the reading of the 6 paramitas on page 92. Dana, giving. I shall be generous and helpful to others. Sila, discipline. I shall be pure and virtuous by following the precepts of the Buddha. Kasanti, patience. I shall be patient, tolerant, and understanding. Virya, endeavor. I shall be energetic and persevering and do my best in all things. Dhyana, meditation. I shall reflect on the teachings of the Buddha to attain oneness in all beings. Adra, wisdom. I shall seek the light of wisdom for the benefit of all beings. Gasho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. You may be seated.
At this time, I would like to call on Temple President Mr. Kurt Yasuhara to deliver his words of appreciation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming for today's Ohigan service. I'd like to thank the 3rd and 4th graders for a wonderful job hosting today's service. Let's give them a round of applause. They did a great job this morning. I'd like to thank the ministerial staff, Reverend Smitty, for officiating today's service, and ministerial assistants Sharon, Sasaki, Trish for the musical accompaniment, and Ken and Breven for doing the audio video today. The team works very hard to put together all the services throughout the year, so please express your gratitude for what they do and delivering such wonderful services every week. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yasuhara. At this time, are there any announcements?
Good morning, everyone, as they all line up. This is the good part, right? I just wanted to invite you as a representative of the Japanese American Historical Society of San Diego. We're having a free event at the end of Sunday, March 30th. From 12:30, we'll be having a screening. It's directed by Sharon Yamato, who will be coming, and Evan Kodani. It's going to be narrated by George Takei. And it's a One Fighting Irishman screening. And it's just briefly about a short film on attorney Wayne Collins, who defended Japanese Americans during World War II, and he restored U.S. citizenships for over 5,000 individuals that were coerced into renouncing it at Tule Lake Segregation Center. So it will be right here in the annex at Buddhist Temple, and there is an option for bentos. If you'd like to get one, it'll be $20, and we'll be just eating that right before the screening. So please see me if you'd like to attend. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So this whole Sangha, everyone here is invited to the Vista Buddhist Temple next Sunday, March 23rd, for the service in Vista for our annual exchange with Vista. So they did request a head count. So if, for those who would like to go to the Vista service next Sunday, it's on Cedar Road in Vista. If you could please sign up downstairs in the temple office if you have not already done so, just so they can get a head count. They also have really nice refreshments after, so they want to make sure they have enough. So if you could do that today, that would be really appreciated. There's also a service here for those who are not able to go to Vista. Thank you.
Thanks, Sharon. I'm Bill Teague, and I help with Buddhist education from time to time, and also make sure we have nice books in the bookstore. I'm happy to say that we now have 5 more copies of Moving Forward Just As You Are. It's $10. It's written in the same wonderful direct address that you may have noticed in our more recent Our Pledge. That is, it's written by our current Gomonchu, Kojun Otani, and it's translated by the current head of IBS, Reverend Dr. Takeshi, I'm so sorry, this is horrible. Miyagi, thank you so much. His uncle, Reverend Akio Miyagi, was the minister here in San Diego for many years. But anyway, it's a lovely book. If you've read books before about Buddhism that don't seem to be talking to you, this is one that will. Thank you.
All right, got a couple announcements here. It relates to our next major service. Do any of you know what our next major service is? Yeah, Kiana? No? It's 1 month earlier. It would be Hanamatsuri in April. So on Saturday, April 12th, the Dharma School will be decorating the Hanamido on Saturday, April 12th at 1 p.m. in the dining room. So we'd like to invite all the Dharma School kids and the Sangha members to come help us out decorate the Hanamido with the baby Buddha. And we'll have a good time putting that together. And then the next day, after the Hanamatsuri service, we are going to have our 3rd annual Tostada Bingo Fiesta fundraiser. That's going to take place in the Annex Hall after the service. It is $13 for those 13 years older and up, and then $6 for children 12 and under. The adults, they get 2 yummy beef or bean tostadas with fixings that includes dessert, beverage, and 5 games of bingo. For the children under 12 and under, they get 1 yummy tostada with fixings, dessert, beverage, and 5 games of bingo as well. There is a sign-up sheet in the office, so please sign up if you'd like to participate in that. Currently, there are being donations accepted for bingo prizes. They can include gift cards, baskets, children's books, games, monetary, etc. And the proceeds benefit the Southern California Wildfire Relief Fund. And then going back to the Hanamido prep, the Dharma School is accepting monetary and floral donations. Thank you.
All right, this is your weekly reminder that our Southern District Junior YBA is selling Obon t-shirts for $20 each. We have sizes small to extra, extra large, and we are selling until April 26th. We will receive the shirts in late May and distribute as soon as possible after that. So that means if you order a t-shirt and can't pay like the day of, you can just pay us when we give you the shirt. And yeah, so it'll be good. And if you're interested, find a junior YBA member anytime and we will write down your information. Please keep in mind there is limited availability for the shirt that yours truly designed. Okay, thank you.
Hi, good morning. I'm here to tell you about another important service. Maybe we should have coordinated in line because now you know about all of them out of order. But at the end of this month, on March 30th, this is the last service of the month of March, we have a special service. It's called Scout Sunday. Who here remembers Scout Sunday from the last couple years? Got a couple scouts in here. All right, how many scouts do we have here in the Dharma School? Okay, put your hand up. I see you over there. Hey, look at all of these scouts over here. So if you are a scout, or you used to be a scout, this is a service that specifically celebrates the scouting movement. Those of our members and Dharma School students who are scouts, being reverent is one of the core tenets of scouting and the scouting movement. So this is a special service that we do once a year where the scouts, just like you're seeing the 3rd through 4th grade class, lead the service. It'll be our members who are scouts. And we'll get to honor those of you who were scouts when you were younger. Please bring, if you were an Eagle Scout or earned the Gold Award, more than welcome to find it in your treasure box and wear it that day. On that day, so question for all the scouts here that raised their hand. What do scouts like more than anything? Let me hear it.
Girl Scout cookies.
Girl Scout cookies. That's true. I was thinking more about earning badges, right? So if you're a scout, right, if here in Dharma school, or those of you at home who are with temple affiliated families that have scouts, this is the 2025 Scout Sunday badge. Ooh, special. You will earn this badge by participating in our Scout Sunday service. So hope to see you there. Please come and support the Scouts on Scout Sunday. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Just a quick reminder about our Dharma School annual camping trip that we'll be going to Mount Laguna over Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd through the 26th. We would love it if all Dharma School families could join us. We picked that weekend because it worked for a lot of Dharma School families. You could come. We had to reserve for 3 nights, but if you want to just come for the day, or if you just want to come for 1 night, that would be great. And we're going to get more information out about the activities and the food very soon. Thank you.
Good morning. Oops. Raise your hand if you know what panko is. Panko? Panko. Yay. Not everybody knows. Anyway, we're selling a 12-ounce bag of panko for $3, and it is a benefit to for the FBWA, that's the Federation of Buddhist Women's Association conference in 2026, and so I hope you support that. We'll be selling it downstairs in the dining room, and then the other announcement is to sign up for the English tea, which we have now renamed the afternoon tea, to give us some flexibility. So anyway, that's coming up on Saturday, May 3rd. And so the seating is limited, so please sign up. Thanks.
Well, this concludes the Dharma School portion of our spring Ohigan service. Our class would like to thank Reverend Smitty for officiating in today's Dharma message, and CMA Sharon Sasaki.
We would also like to thank Miss Trishia for providing the music, our tech team for having our service live on YouTube, and to all of you for attending our service today. At this time, the Dharma School is dismissed to offer incense and go to an activity in room 6 to 7. Thank you. Please walk to the activity.
Yes, so Dharma School students, please head to room 6 to 7, as Benjamin just said.
All right, we are now going to begin the adult portion of the service. We're going to begin with the chanting of the Vandana and Tisarana. It can be found on page 96. And I believe with Reverend Smitty, I believe we can all begin from the leader.
Yes, please join me in chanting all parts of the Vandana and Tisarana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo kie butsu. Namo kie ho. Namo kie so. Kansho namanda, 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 namanda.
All right, now Reverend Smitty will deliver her adult Ohigan Dharma message.
So please join me in Gassho. The ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have long been drowning, unfailingly be brought across it. From the hymns of the Pure Land Masters. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, 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 Namanda. Okay, good morning again. Wow, I think more than 50% of those who were in attendance have now left to go to the Dharma School craft. Must be a very special one today. So, since you don't have the Dharma School students to help you out, let's start with a quiz and see if you were listening, okay? Cookies. Merit badges. Okay. Does anyone know what special holiday we're observing today? Ohigan. Wrong. It's St. Patrick's Day. The vernal equinox will be on March 20th, but St. Patty's Day is tomorrow. That's why I'm wearing my bright green Gojo Gessa. But if you're going to insist that we're observing Ohigan, why is there an O before Ohigan? Honorific? No, not as an honorific. It's to make it more Irish sounding, like O'Malley or O'Brien or O'Donnell. Weren't you paying attention during the kids' talk? I guess I'll have to go over this stuff again then. Okay. So, Ohigan is a time to consider crossing from this shore of suffering and delusion in samsara to the other shore of awakening and bliss in nirvana. And frequently we hear this as a metaphor in the context of this shore being life and the other shore being death, something that doesn't sound very welcoming and attractive to most of us. So how can we think of the other shore as our true home? Well, isn't home something we're familiar and comfortable with? Isn't home a place of peace and rest? You know, I can say to my cell phone, Google, navigate home, and I'm guided with step-by-step directions to my abode, not to some stranger's house or some vacant lot in the middle of nowhere. When I get to my home, following Google's good guidance, I can sit in my comfy chair and put my feet up and relax. So even Google knows my home and how to get me there. So how could the other shore, this place I've never visited, be my true and real home? Let's think a little bit about what home means to us. The feelings and the mental images and the thoughts of home might evoke for us. Home should be a place to be loved and comforted, a place where we fit in. Home should be a place of familiarity, of pleasantness, of feeling at ease. Have you ever gone on a trip, a vacation perhaps, and after days or weeks of visiting and touring the most wonderful sites, staying in the nicest hotels or Airbnbs, and eating at the finest restaurants, you suddenly long to be home? My house is by no means a 5-star accommodation, and I rarely, if ever, produce gourmet food in my kitchen. But after a long trip, I'm always happy to return home. I'm happy to return to the comforts of my bed and my pillow and my crazy cat. As the 19th century American song goes, be it ever so humble, there's no place like home. But home is more than just a place, just an address. Home is a feeling. Home is an emotion, one that we can't always articulate. Like most people, every once in a while, despite my best efforts and attempts to avoid getting a cold or flu, I end up with an upper respiratory infection. And when I start sneezing and coughing, and especially when I come down with a case of the flu or a really bad cold, I like to stay at home, crawl under warm covers, and eat chicken soup. But not just any chicken soup. I want my favorite, the stuff my mom gave to me when I was a kid, the stuff that makes me feel good and warm inside. Now, I bet you're thinking of my mom's homemade chicken noodle soup, but you'd be wrong. You might even think I like some of D.Z. Aiken's chicken soup, touted as Jewish penicillin, but that's not it either. What I want is Campbell's Chicken and Stars condensed soup. You know, from a can, the kind with the familiar red and white label, like Andy Warhol used to paint pictures of. So there's nothing fancy to it, nothing gourmet, and nothing made from scratch. I hope my mom wasn't offended when I would turn down her very own soup for chicken soup out of a can, but that's what made me feel better as a kid, and I still like the way it makes me feel today. So when I feel lousy, I'm comforted by Campbell's Chicken Soup and Stars, just piping hot out of the can. It just feels like home to me. Home is a place for family and familiarity. You know, I often joke about having to watch what I say around temple, mostly because so many members of this and other BCA temples are in some way related to everyone else in this or other BCA temples. And my mom is unlikely to hear the bad things I say here, but your mom, your nephew, your daughter, your cousin, your in-laws will likely tell you about any disparaging words that come out of my mouth. Yet, despite having no familiar ties to this temple, from the very first times I came here, I had the feeling that I had found a home. I wasn't raised in a Jodo Shinchu temple or even in a Buddhist family, but being here was like coming home. I felt welcomed. I had that sense of belonging here. I found a spiritual home at this temple and feel that I continue to be nurtured by and grow in the light of the Dharma here. And I've talked with other Buddhist converts like me who say they've experienced that same feeling of being at home in their temples, whether it's this one or some other temple. You might not be my relatives, but you definitely are my peeps. And I'm very much at home here with you. So there's a folk rock, or maybe you call it soft rock, song from the early 1970s that illustrates this phenomena, this notion of home as a feeling and more than just a place. I'm not going to sing it to you because you don't need to hear my voice anymore today in singing or chanting. But it goes, he was born in the summer of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found a key for every door. So if you don't recognize the lyrics, those are the opening lines to John Denver's hit song, Rocky Mountain High. Now, contrary to popular myth, Rocky Mountain High has nothing to do with smoking marijuana or eating edibles, even though that's an increasingly popular pastime in Colorado and many other states since legalization of recreational cannabis. Anyways, John Denver recounted the circumstances of when the song started to take shape in his mind, saying that he was camping with friends near a Colorado lake one August, watching a meteor shower streak across that night sky. And that communing with nature, with the Rocky Mountains, was just a remarkable experience for him. The first line, he was born in the summer of his 27th year, refers to John being 27 years old that summer. And the second line, coming home to a place he'd never been before, alludes to the fact that John had recently moved to Aspen. And the song continues with the lines, he left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found a key for every door. And these lines refer to leaving his previous home and experiencing a renewal of this sense of self, unlocking what had previously been hidden from him. So on a literal level, John was singing about moving to Colorado and starting a new phase of his life there. But on a deeper level, he's professing to a spiritual rebirth or awakening as a young, not quite yet 30-year-old man, finding an indescribable peace and happiness and sense of wonder and feeling of being at ease in a place that was new to him, yet somehow familiar and nurturing at the same time. John Denver was at home in this new and amazing place, alive and awake like he had never been previously in his life. Maybe we have a problem with the notion of Ohigan, the other shore, as representing death, because we don't really know what death means as a destination. We're fine with the concept of Shigan, or this shore, because we think we understand life, and we're fine with that as a destination. We're already here on this shore. Sure, it's a shore of suffering, of illusion and delusion, of sorrow, of dissatisfaction and unease, but we've been on this shore since we were born into it. Why do we have to venture out to the unknown, or that which is unfamiliar to us? Isn't that like buying an airline ticket to a city and country that you've never visited, or a place that isn't even rated on TripAdvisor? Better yet, like paying for a seat on a spaceship that will be launched on an unspecified date and traveling to a planet in a galaxy far, far away, a planet that nobody has ever traveled to and returned from that we know of yet. That's why we have a hard time thinking of the other shore as our true home. Even though we're assured that this shore, or the other shore, this unknown city, this distant planet, or this destination that we've never been to before, is truly nirvana, a place of true peace and tranquility and awakening and oneness. We're stuck on this shore, a place we deludedly believe to be our home. But remember, home isn't just a place, or just an address, or a physical location. Home is that feeling of rest that we get when we return from a long trip. Home is comforting, like that steaming bowl of Campbell's chicken and stars soup. Home is welcoming and a sense of belonging, like my first visits to this temple. Home is the feeling of being where you were meant to be, even though you've never been there before, like John Denver's experience in the Colorado mountains. Home is our destination, even when we're unsure exactly of what or where that might be. The Dharma, Amida Buddha, inconceivable light and unfathomable life, wisdom and compassion, Namo Amida Butsu, the truth, that's how we're carried to our home. That's how we get from this shore to the other shore. And on this journey that we call life, we discover our true selves, and when we awaken to our authentic selves, we'll find that we can and will make it to our true home, welcomed, comforted, at peace, tranquil, at home in a place that we've never been before. So please join me once again in Gassho. The ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have long been drowning, unfailingly be brought across it. Namo Amida Butsu, Namandab, 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 Namandab.
Thank you, Reverend Smitty, for your Spring Adult Ohigan Dharma message. At this time, will everyone please rise for the Gatha, Ondog-san 2. It can be played on page 128, and it will be led by Trishia on the piano. Gassho, Namo Muraoka, Namo Muraoka, Namandos, 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 Namandos. All right, you may be seated. All right. At this time, will everyone please put your hands together for closing meditation? A family is a place where a mind lives with other minds. If these minds love each other, the home will be as beautiful as a flower garden. Namo Muraoka. Namo Muraoka. Namandos, Namandos, Namandos. All right. At this time, this is going to conclude the Spring Ohigan service. We'd like to thank all of you for attending today. We'd like to thank Reverend Smitty for officiating, Trishia for playing the piano, our tech team for having our service live on YouTube today. We thank you all for watching our service today, whether especially for those watching on their phones or their tablets or devices, etc. Next week, we hope you come to Vista with our temple going to Vista, as Sharon mentioned during the announcements. So this is going to conclude the service. We thank you all for attending today. There is hospitality downstairs hosted by the Dharma School, and you are welcome to offer incense at this time.
by stepping back with your